If you had 3 wishes for patch 6, what would they be? I'm gonna be looking at some of these, what people are saying. I'm gonna be reacting to this and see if I think it's a good idea or not. And then near the end of the video, I'm gonna be telling you my 3 wishes for patch 6. And please, please, guys, let me know down in the comments what your 3 wishes are. So let's get right into it. So one of the top upvoted comments is Gale should be able to find familiar terror. So for those of you who don't know, Terra is his little cat, and if you play as his origin character, you can basically summon Terra and have her around for most of the game. I think this would be great, and I think it fits with Scale's character really well because he's a very caring, affectionate person. So it kind of is weird that when you don't play as Gale, you can only find Terra like relatively late in the game, even though this is his cat. I mean, it's supposed to be like a magical cat, so I guess Gale thinks she can kind of take care of herself, but it still kind of feels a little bit out of keeping. People are saying, yeah, this, if Minsk can have Boo, Gale should be able to have Tira. She comes to you if you play as Gale. This guy, Sir Austin, is basically this guy on Reddit is basically saying just what I said, that she, if you are the origin character, she comes naturally. This other guy saying, I don't have time for 12 playthroughs. I kind of agree with that. I mean, how many people are going to play as Origin Gale? It's just not going to happen very much, guys, because most people want to play as custom characters. So I don't think they should really count on that. I think you should definitely be able to just have Terra whenever you have Gale in the party. This guy, Crimson Hotcake, says, let's have a Dribbles demon or zombie boss fight. I agree with this entirely, guys. I cannot tell you how much I agree with this. Dribbles, it's such a pain to put him back together, and then you kind of get a womp 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 kind of ending. I really thought there was going to be something more epic, and you do get kind of a good quest reward. You do get some really, really nice gloves, I believe. You know, guys, there should have been something there that, like, oh my God, that was really cool for doing all this work. Because Dribbles is actually one of the like most in-depth and kind of like obscure quest chains. You have to find these parts all over Act 3. It's a real pain. You would think you would get something more for it. It's probably one of the longest side quest chains in the game, excluding companion quests. And not only are the rewards pretty meh, the ending is pretty anticlimactic. Only side quest I felt was a bit of a letdown, just due to the fact finding all his pieces is quite a pain. Agreed, agreed. The ability to name containers in your inventory and designate them categories for easy inventory management. This just depends on the person, guys. I will say something near the end of the video specifically regarding containers, and it is one of my 3 wishes. I really don't use bags that much, unlike a lot of people. A lot of people are really bag fiends, and they use a bunch of bags. I don't use bags that much. I wouldn't be naming containers, that's for sure. But I can understand for people that like to organize, that would be a big thing. This guy talks about die previews. I could see that being a big thing because I know a lot of people die. Personally, I've never used a single die on any piece of clothing. But to be honest with you guys, I know a lot of people, this is really, really big thing. And another thing that I hear constantly mentioned, and I'm wondering if I'll see it in the comments, is transmog, because I hear about transmog literally night and day from everybody. So we'll see if that's going to be a thing. Adding it to one would be great to see dye bags. Also, you can color code your inventory. I mean, this guy's really getting into it. Now he's going to color code his inventory. My goodness, that's kind of crazy. Finally, somebody wore Greymon 77, throwback to Digimon. Legit, legit, throwback to Digimon. But fix the shield bash. Now, this is something, guys, that's just mind-boggling to me, was how many hot patches has been put out, and the shield bash is still broken. And this is really important because it really, a lot of shields, shield bash is one of the abilities. So this really lowers the overall usefulness of shields in general. So I really, really, really think this needs to be fixed in the next patch. It's a huge priority in my opinion. Tab needs to have a tent, guys, but it's empty and no one ever notices its location. I mean, what would you do in the tent? Like maybe for some of the romance scenes, I could kind of see the tent being interesting. I don't think the tent is something that I would personally like, but seems to be something that a lot of people want. This guy's saying about color preview, deity choices. I know there's a mod, but come on, us in camp. Us in camp would be really cool because us is somebody you can basically pick up from the start of the game and have on and off, like you can actually summon him from near the end of the game. So like I do think having us in camp makes a lot of sense. And it would be kind of cool. So I do really like that thought. Fixing narrative gaps as display Diddy, lack of companion reaction, a lot of key Doge moments. I agree about this a lot. Like sometimes in the Doge quest line specifically, there are some really good reactions, but there's also some stuff that's like your companions should have probably have reacted stronger to this because it's like a big plot point. So yeah, I do think that would be definitely something to be the case. More tab doge get involved in companion banner rather than just two companions. Yeah, I think that would probably be hard to implement, but I kind of like that. Banter has always been broken for me. It definitely hasn't been broken for me. You hear Banter all the time when you're on the overworld. I just hope they polish Act 3 with patches. Personally, okay, here's the thing, guys. Now, this is a really interesting thing because I got to experience Act 3 on two different systems. I bought a very small laptop to China with me to game. And so, because a lot of places I did not have good internet, etc., etc., the laptop actually just chugs on, absolutely chugs on. For me, in essence, on my main gaming desktop, actually plays great. So I think this is a system specs or a system requirements type of issue. Act 3 is definitely a lot harsher on the PC than is Act 1 and 2, but a lot of that is just because there's a lot more NPCs and characters on screen in Baldur's Gate specifically versus, the wilderness that you're in Act 1 and Act 2. So I would say that Act 1 is definitely the most polished and you can feel it with the lack of bugs. But Act 3 does need some polishing, even though I think some of it's going to be unavoidable and it's never going to be fixed. More and better clothes would be great. That would be kind of cool because, like, the camp clothes are kind of limited, guys. Being able to wear armor as clothes, it feels like I have almost no control over the appearance without mods. Kind of true. I mean, the amount of clothes is kind of limited, and most of the clothes don't look very good. I see most of the effort was put in armors. I would also love to see more armors, more weapons, that kind of thing. Obviously, that's a big ask, guys. But if we do get an expansion, which I think we will probably will be seeing that. Pausing the game actually pauses the game. Honestly, weird that it doesn't. Hard agree on this. Hard agree on this. People are saying it's because every session is multiplayer enable, which maybe is true, but for a single player, like when you're just playing single player, this should be something that actually happens. Like you should, when you pause, it should pause the game. I want to hear your comments down below about what your free wishes are. But now let's get to my free wishes since we're getting near the end of the video. So basically, my three wishes would be this. Number one, a default camp with everything in predefined places. Now, what I mean by this is especially for me, I have a spatial orientation problem. And when you're constantly switching camps, trying to find rivers, trying to find the camp boxes, everything like that can be a real nuisance. I wish there was an option, just a selection to have a default camp where everything's just in one specific location. I know this sounds kind of weird, but it really does bother me. I constantly am trying to find everything in each of the camps, and it seems like once I get used to one camp, it's obviously going to be moving on to the next camp, and I got to relearn everything. And for a spatially kind of not well oriented person like myself, this can be a real problem. Number two wish would be better sorting, able to sort items in camp boxes. So one of the biggest mods that I see for BG3 that is so useful is the basically better sorting mod where it allows you to sort your items better. Now, I wouldn't personally be labeling bags and things of that nature, but just being able to type and search, okay, I want to type for the throwing pike, for instance. Let's say that throwing pike is back in my camp box. I should be able to search in my inventory and see that it's in the camp box because I have so many times where there's like four people playing. We're all looking for items, and it just takes too long, guys. So better sorting would be one of my wishes for patch 6. Absolutely. And then the third wish that I would have would be better pathfinding, guys. Especially for necromancers, spore druids, anybody that has summons, any summon creatures, any like reanimated dead. Like a lot of these builds would be really cool to do, but they have one big downside. Spore druids, necromancers, they're just really, really clunky, guys. And I think that better pathfinding in general should be a big thing that they're working on now that the game's been out a little bit. So really hope you like this video. Please let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are and what your free wishes would be. And really hope you enjoy the content. I'll see you next time, guys.